Good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of BGB History Films.
Hello, I'm your host Benjamin Bugsby, and this is my colleague Sebastian Thatcher. Cheerio. In the fall of 1939, Hitler's expansionist policies directed his attentions to Poland.
This, combined with never-before-seen military tactics and one of the most surprising alliances in European history, is recognized as the earth-shattering event that led to one of the most horrific years of international warfare.
Tonight, we'll be examining the catastrophic event that led to the Second World War, the invasion of Poland.
The invasion of Poland began with Hitler, the dictator of Nazi Germany. Hitler had his sights set on Poland for quite some time. He had long been propagating his policies of Lebensraum and Heimat to the German people. Lebensraum dealt with the living space, and was the belief that to house all the pure-race Germans, Germany needed to expand its borders. Heimat was a racist and largely anti-Semitic ideology that the Aryan race was far superior, and that any other race was inferior and needed to be enslaved or exterminated.
Hitler also was determined to regain the Polish corridor, the strip of land which connected Prussia and Germany, and had been lost to Poland in the Treaty of Versailles. He, and most of the German nation, believed that this land was their birthright.
Hitler believed that an invasion of Poland would go unopposed by Britain, France, and the rest of the League of Nations. This was due to their previous lack of interference in events of international aggression in the recent past, such as Japan's invasion of Manchuria in 1931, Italy's invasion of Abyssinia, now known as Ethiopia, in 1935, Hitler's previous annexation of Austria in 1938, and the German occupation of Czechoslovakia in 1938.
On the Eastern Front, Stalin, the leader of Communist Russia, was interested in Poland for very different reasons. He felt very threatened by Hitler's recent rise to power and Germany's rapid rearmament. Having purged his army of all his top military officers due to intense paranoia, Stalin recognized that he needed time to rebuild his army. By temporarily allying himself with Germany, he gave himself the needed time to regroup, since he could not ally himself with France or Britain due to their deep fear of communism.
Also, the land he wanted from Poland would provide a buffer zone between the Soviet Union and Germany to stall Hitler's inevitable advance into Stalin's territory. The Polish land Stalin aimed for had previously belonged to the USSR, but had been given to Poland in the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. The regaining of this land would be seen as a welcomed victory to the Soviet people.
The Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact was the agreement made between the unlikely duo of Hitler and Stalin, in which both powers promised to remain neutral towards each other. There was also a secret clause which detailed the invasion and division of Poland.
Hitler felt that an excuse for attack on Poland was needed to justify his actions to the rest of the world and to solidify the support of the German people. This is why he organized a staged attack on the Gliwice radio tower in Germany. Germans, dressed in Polish uniform, were sent to ambush the tower, Sender Gliwice. They were instructed to then broadcast an anti-German message in Polish.
On the following day, September 1st, 1939, German troops invaded Poland at 4 in the morning. The troops were accompanied by tanks, the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, and the German Navy. The Navy's victory was quick, beginning with the open fire of the Schleswig-Holstein on the Polish military transit depot in Danzig on the Baltic Sea. After this, the large majority of the Polish Navy was sent to Britain, and the rest of the attacks took place on land.
The Luftwaffe's attacks were particularly successful, due in part to the new military tactic, Blitzkrieg. This strategy, meaning lightning warfare, incorporated the idea of rapid attacks and taking advantage of the opposition's inability to organize a defense. Compared to the stagnant trench warfare of World War I, the Luftwaffe revolutionized the battlefield, quickly helping Germany establish themselves as a major military threat.
The German tanks were also particularly successful as they were more than 4 times faster than those seen in World War I. Tanks such as the Panzerkampfwagen and the Panzerjäger Elephant were well equipped and highly evolved from their predecessors.
The Nazi troops took advantage of Poland's extensive borders, attacking from the north, south and west. The western attack named Lodz as their first target.
The southern attack came from the newly acquired Czechoslovakia, and their initial offensive occurred in Krakow.
From the north, troops stationed in Prussia pushed south towards Warsaw, Poland's capital, the final goal of the campaign.
Poland's greatest offensive against Germany occurred from September 9th to 19th along the Bzura River to the west of Warsaw. In it, a Polish breakout attack gained initial success but eventually failed after a concentrated German counterattack.
The Polish army was doomed to fail, but refused to surrender to the German army. However, on September 17th, troops from the Soviet Union invaded from the east, creating a two-front war. Poland had sent most of its troops west to combat the Nazis and protect Warsaw, so there were few defenses left to stall Soviet advancement.
Polish leaders did not anticipate an attack from Stalin due to previously signed non-aggression pacts between Poland and the Soviet Union. The Polish army was instructed not to attack the Soviets. Therefore, as they entered Poland, they met no resistance, and many Poles initially believed they were coming to Poland's aid. Unfortunately for Poland, this was not the case.
The Soviet army pushed the Poles westward, and the Germans forced them towards Warsaw, which fell on September 27th. Poland was officially defeated on October 6, 1939.
During this invasion, on September 3rd, the United Kingdom and France declared war on Germany. Although war was declared, neither nation sent substantial aid to Poland. This was devastating for the Poles since they had been promised protection and aid from these greater nations. Aid was not sent to Poland quickly enough due to the unexpected speed of Germany's troops.
Despite the lack of involvement by the United Kingdom and France, soon to be known as the Allies, the official declarations of war by these countries led this event to be recognized as the beginning of World War II.
That concludes tonight's episode of BGB History Films. Be sure to tune in next week for the next period of history in review.